Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Sharp Side Saturdays. We got the best guest, Gianni the Greek, joining us. MLB from Gianni today. I'm actually not going to do UFC. I'm going to do a Cage Warriors bet. There's a line that I really like there. This kind of went one way, came back the other. But without further ado, Gianni, welcome back. Thanks for coming. Big MLB slate today. We're getting to the middle point of the season. What's on your mind?
Yeah, it's a good time to be betting baseball heading into the break. People are off on vacation, not putting much time, but they want action. So it's like you don't have as much time to invest in the research, but they still want action when they're on vacation. 4th of July weekend offers a lot of good betting opportunities. For me, a couple of sides stuck out real quickly. I'll tell you, I jumped out at me with St. Louis at home against the Yankees. I thought they should be opened as a favorite. Now they moved the favorite. That's why I'm not using it, because as an underdog, I thought they were in a good spot, just like I liked Seattle against Tampa at home as a dog in a good spot. But instead of those two, we're going to go with the Minnesota Twins. They were the only bet I placed yesterday. And what stuck out to me the most is just I've shared it before. My success in baseball, I credit all to the Pythagorean theorem. It's where using it, it's not like the triangle Pythagorean theorem, but in sports and in analytics, and a lot of the advanced analytics guys know what I'm talking about. It's one of the best predictors of future performance as far as wins and losses go. It shows you what a team really should be in ball sports. And real quickly, it's simply like a percentage of games that they should have won compared to what they have won based on runs scored and runs allowed. And for Baltimore, they're just well ahead of where they should be, sitting on their record. So I expect a team like that to regress, number one. They're on my fade list. Minnesota's on the opposite. They're on my look to bet list. That's what I have. I create a look to fade list, a look to bet list. And it's simply based on that metric alone. Which teams have won more games than they should have so far this year? Which teams have lost more games than they should have so far this year? That team's probably going to be undervalued. That team's probably going to be overvalued. Here we have the perfect storm. A team in Baltimore that's won more games than they should against a team like Minnesota who's lost more games than they should. So we expect a regression, a progression. Obviously, it doesn't happen in a single day or a single week. It drags on. So it's not like you're going to automatically fade them for that reason. You're going to take it a step further. And here, I just think it sets up nicely for them as well. Number one, I like the pitching matchup. Bailey's just pitched a lot better for Minnesota on the road than he has at home. And you got him on the road today. So that's a good spot. And then you have, as far as Baltimore goes, the one trend I like to look at pitchers is how many pitches does it take them? Are they averaging per inning? And how many innings are they going? When you see a guy, and I'm going to share this, starting to pitch more innings and less pitches, he's in the zone. You have a 3 or 4 game slot where you can make money off that pitcher if you find the other factors to support that side. And right now, that's exactly where the Minnesota pitcher falls, and opposite of where the Baltimore pitcher falls. If you look at the Baltimore pitcher, what you're going to notice is that his last game, he went less innings and needed more pitches to get there than he has where he's gone farther than the 5 innings that he lasted against Tampa Bay. That's a trend that I've had a lot of success with, and it lands perfectly here on the Minnesota Twins. So as a dog, I like Minnesota. Again, you expect when you take a dog, if you're 50-50, you're going to throw half of those tickets away at plus money. That's probably where we're at here. But I really do think it's a good spot. And I do want to share this a future for our football fans out there, because I bet it already for myself, and then I bet it again this week and actually shared it to subscribers. And I used to give out futures a lot because they did well in season win totals, Andrew. But what I've realized is it didn't help my subscribers as much as it helped me. Meaning it helped me at the end of the season because I was able to add units to my overall record. But what happened was a lot of subscribers would tie up their money in season win totals, and they're not well funded for the season. So you have a bad week, first 2 weeks of the season, those poor guys are out of action. So to protect the people that trust me, I have to try to look ahead like that. And that's why I don't, unless I'm very confident that the edge is great enough that they should tie some money up, even though it won't cash or trash for a few months ahead. And that's the New York Giants under. I went under 8.5 and laid a little juice, and I went under 8 this week and sent to my subscribers and laid a little juice. At the worst, I think at 8 with juice, it's a push. And here's why. All the hype was about the New York Giants re-signing their offensive weapons in their quarterback in Jones and Barkley, the running back. The offense wasn't the problem for the New York Giants. The problem was they were 29th in DVOA in defense, and they did absolutely nothing to improve that. The flip side of that coin is the NFC East. Even though the NFC is weaker this year than the AFC, the East is the toughest division. So they're in the toughest division with teams that have improved, and they're coming off a season where they won 5 more games than the year before. They improved by 5 games. And you know why? Because they had one of the best turnover margins in all of the NFL. And we know that's a lot of randomness to turnovers. In fact, you could just blindly fade or follow teams to expect them to regress or progress just based off that turnover ratio alone, and probably make a decent profit over the long term. Because again, there is a randomness. You can't predict a fumble. There's a 50-50 chance of getting the ball once it hits the ground. There's no science to it. So that's why I think the under on the Giants is a great bet. 8, it's out there. It's definitely available. There's some juice to it. I'm seeing even 7.5s. So again, it's on you how you want to use it, but that's my best bets for today. It's the Minnesota Twins in baseball, and go ahead and bet the Giants in the NFL.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to say that you had the Twins yesterday also against the Orioles as a dog, and they won 8-1. So clearly we're on to something here. And then for the Giants also, they're out of conference schedule this year. They play the AFC East, which is one of the hardest schedules in football. So they're going to have the Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, and then in the division, they're going to have the Cowboys twice, the Eagles twice. So I love that. I'm on that as well.
Awesome.
For me today, I'm actually going to look at Cage Warriors instead of UFC because I think there's a little bit better of a spot. In the main event, Cage Warriors 156, I like Darren Stewart over Matthew Bonner for a number of reasons. I feel like Stewart has a lot of grappling upside here. He's fought better competition, being a UFC vet. He's in his early 30s, so it's not like he's one of these guys that's washed and fighting the end of his career at another organization. He's still what he was in the UFC. He's also competed as high as 205 pounds, where his opponents actually competed recently at 170 pounds. They're fighting at 185. I think Stewart's the stronger guy. I see him getting on top here. Bonner comes forward very frequently. He's pretty you can pretty much guarantee he's going to come forward because he always does in his fights, which I think will make it easier for Stewart to time takedowns. I think Stewart can compete on the feet also. I don't think it's like necessarily a striker versus grappler matchup. I just think you're getting the better grappler at a cheap price. Both these guys, good cardio, so I don't really think 5 rounds will be a major factor. I just have to make Stewart a bigger favorite here. I think one of the bigger edges I've found over the years is people underestimate how hard it is to be a 500 level UFC fighter. And that if you look back at my record, which has close to a 2,000 bet sample size now, you're going to find it's not a one size fits all, but you're going to find a lot of examples of just people that are roughly 500 UFC fighters that just are getting undervalued in the betting line. It happens all the time with debutants. And here it's kind of happening on the flip side where Stewart had his UFC career. He had some mixed results. He took the losses to Eric Anders, Dustin Jacoby. He beat Bavon Lewis, Deron Wynn, Charles Byrd. He actually went to split decisions with Kevin Holland and Edmund Shabazian, who are 2 solid talents. So yeah, long story short, I like Edmund. I just said I like Edmund Shabazian. I like Darren Stewart here. Minus 165, I think, is like probably the highest I'd go to. But yeah, I like him for a unit. I think he gets this done at a higher clip than the odds imply.
I like the Stewart pick, and when you got down on it, you got down at like 140, if I remember correctly. That line moved all the way to like 70 or 80 before we saw some resistance, and that's going to happen. I like both your Cage Warriors picks as well. I bet England, that line moved now. He's a heavy chalk now. It's like 240 I saw at Pinnacle real quickly, man, just because, and again, people could go away, you could edit this, but yesterday I had problems with technical stuff. I wasn't even online for most of the day, but when I did, I looked at some of the stuff you were dealing with, but we got to discuss this real quickly. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Because this is nonsense. I'm so surprised. Thank God there's a lot of sharp guys out there in today's world that actually do understand how this business works. Because I ran into this over a decade ago, well over a decade ago, and people were just not as sophisticated as today. So you could just imagine what I had to deal with.
Yeah.
Let me explain something to you guys. Andrew moves lines because he influences the market. That's factual. That's why I got to know him, because that's my job. That's what I do. I don't make it a secret. The reason I've been profitable in multiple markets over this long period of time is because I work with guys like Andrew in different sports who win and then need to get down. And they use a guy like myself to help them get down. Because when Andrew says, hey, I like this at minus 150, he knows I'm going to get him minus 150. And because that's what I'm good at doing. And more importantly, he also knows his money's going to be guaranteed, which is very difficult when you're dealing with credit. And with someone like Andrew, doesn't want to tie up the kind of money he's betting in a non-interest bearing account. That's a fool's game. You're going to want to work with credit, guys like myself that will extend credit to someone like Andrew, because I know he wins. He's an originator. Now, if Andrew comes to Las Vegas tomorrow and walks into a sports book and bets $1,000 on a MMA fight, it's probably not going to move, because they probably don't recognize him. They don't know who it is. If he goes in again and again and again, and they have his player number, let's say, and they see that he beat the number each and every time, rest assured, next time Andrew comes to town and goes to bet, after he bets, they're probably going to move the number. This is how this works. But real quickly, let me just share this, because the fact that people are even arguing this is to me is insane. Listen,
I thought we were past the point. I really thought we were past the point of like.
it's not even, dude, it's not even like a brag on you. It's just, this is how it works. That there's guys that for whatever reason found a way to beat a particular market. What happens is they start to win for themselves, and then they get shut down betting small at those bigger books that we've all been shut down from. So what do? They're forced to deal with guys like myself. Guys like myself have our accounts already labeled as sharp. So when Andrew gives me a play and I bet it into that labeled sharp account, it's going to move. I didn't move it, even though I bet it. He moved it. But it's not him walking in and placing the bet. It's him using movers like me, who the sports books understand work with winning bettors, and we don't keep it a secret. Like the books that I work with, I've worked for a very long time. They give me a certain limit because they know the stuff I'm giving them is the sharpest shit out there, and they're going to be able to move their lines off it and even defend themselves against other sharp bettors that are trying to bet the same side or what have you. And that's exactly how this works. If you win, that will happen to you. If you have a winning record and you're actually doing damage, you're going to be forced to use a person like myself. And then you're going to be moving lines also, because a mover is labeled as someone who's given plus EV information. That's all it is. I'm not moving the lines. It's not even me. They just know this person represents a winning entity. They don't care where it comes from. They just know this account continues to beat us. Like, I'm nobody. Dude, I could move a pinnacle line because they know in this particular sport, he's going to give me sharp stuff. That's not a brag. That's just how it works. And I'm sorry, but that's just what Andrew does. And because he doesn't talk about it, he's not loud. And people, I think, underestimate him. And I think they don't realize that he actually is moving the market. Let me just tell you real quickly. Bobby Green's fighting in a week or two. I bet that for Andrew at minus 150, just so you understand. Go look at the board, what that 9 is right now. He moved that. He did. Right, the guy right there you're looking at your screen. The first guy to bet Bobby Green at minus 150 in a few weeks. I don't even know when that fight is. He bet it right there. Today, let me tell you real quickly. I don't. His subscribers aren't going to mind. It's not. They pay a lot. They pay nothing for his information, which again blows my mind. But Griffin Morales, you look at that over under. Just go peek. I'm not even looking. I don't even know what the line is right now. But here's what I can tell you. When Andrew sent that to me, he sent it to me at plus 130, 135 is what we're got down at. That's him moving the market. That's not my pick. That's not nothing like that. So please understand, when he came in on Sean Brady, this exactly what here's what transpires. So you understand. Now I'm sure he deals with other people. That's his business. But someone like myself that has an opinion, and because I work with the UFC, we do shows and we have production meetings, and I have to send in picks sometimes weeks in advance. You know, God, you may see it live, but a lot of times you're producing stuff weeks in advance. So to make a long story short, we had a production meeting early for UFC 290 because of the 4th of July holiday, and because next week is International Fight Week. Tough to have a production meeting during it. So we had it early. Because we have to research the 290 card, I put my strongest plays on the side. What sticks out to me early? And what was one of them at the top was Sean Brady. What happens within 48 hours, I think, probably 24 hours, yours truly, Andrew Cumbus, reaches out to me and says, yo, I'm going to place my biggest bet, biggest position of this. I'm sorry if I'm giving your business, bro.
No. I appreciate it, because then if I say all this, like, people are like, oh, you brag, whatever. So it's nice having.
I'm gonna take my biggest position of the year on this. And when his biggest position, if I had to guess, I would say it's probably 5x his normal position. Like, he's not going 100x, 500x, probably around 5x his normal position that he's comfortable with, maybe even a little more if he gets the EV, because he could always buy back and have a nice scalp because he knows the market's going to move with him. And that's what he did. So he came in and he gives me Sean Bradley at plus money with the caveat that he should be a 200 favorite. I can show you the text. He should be a 200 favorite, is what the man said. Because I like Brady, I went off. And I have a lot of outs. And I apologize to Andrew for that, because I unloaded on Brady, excuse me.
Yeah.
And I didn't go on screen. That wasn't me. I swear to you. I did not go on screen. I went off screen with it. I don't go on screen. But as soon as I started blasting away, and I'm sure the other guys that he deals with also started blasting away, obviously the books are going to move this line. And that's all that happened. So yes, we, the bettors, moved it, but it was off of Andrew's confirmation. And again, I didn't make it move, but the reason I was confident betting more is because, again, I have an opinion when it comes to MMA. I have an opinion. And when Andrew comes in on that opinion, rest assured, I'm willing to double up. I'm tell it like it is. If he comes in opposite of me, more times than not, I take a step back and I just pass. Because I know long term he's going to win. So I'm not going to try to guess the times he's going to lose. That's a fool's game. So instead, I just let it go, and there's always going to be another fight. But I'm looking for the times we confirm so I could bet it. And I don't care, dude. He can say, oh, no, that's his play. I don't care whose play it is, dude. I don't care. It could be the dog across the street that's barking games to me, and I'll bet him every damn day and tell you that's my guy. That's my guy right there. I don't care. The internet clout to me is irrelevant. I could give two fucks. I'm sorry. What matters to me is just it's a world where 2023, just be honest, dude. Just tell the truth. And that's just the truth. That's how it works, man. And the guy beats MMA, and he's sharp enough, even though he gets information in every other sport. I send him my baseball. I send him any good stuff I get, because he sends me what he gets, because I know he deals with so many sharp people. So he'll send me a baseball game. He'll send me a golf matchup, a tennis matchup, just because he's in that network now where people want his MMA because it's going to beat the market. And because, unfortunately, he's been able to monetize, and it's fortunately, because so many people learn from this and do well in their lives. But the truth is, because he's monetized it as a byproduct of what he's able to do, the narrative is it's a negative, because touting is bad, selling picks is bad. It's a fool's industry. They're all scammers. None of them win. That's bullshit. 99% lose, just like in the real world. where 99% of bettors lose. Yes, in pick selling, 99% of pick sellers lose. And what they do is they market their hot streak to guys that are watching right here, because we're emotional beings. And when we see something that's 8-0, a light goes off. For whatever reason, we're just programmed to think he's going to go 9-0 or 10-0, instead of our reasonable brain saying, what's the probabilities he's going to maintain 100% win rate? That's our reasonable brain. But our emotional brain saying, to the moon, baby, to the moon. This guy's going to go 20 straight wins. And I think that's the disconnect too, that because he's a winning bettor, you expect maybe he's going to win every day. He's going to win every week. He's going to win every month. That's just not how it works, dude. How it works is over the cumulative, over the long term. 1 in 100 are going to show you a profit. Over the short term, anyone could win. Again, I'll bring it back to Dana White Contender Series. There was no more humbling of an 8-week period in my life than this past summer. No matter what I do, that stigma will stick for the people that want to believe that narrative, that he's the worst handicapper in the world. He's the worst bettor in the world. He lost so much money, as if I was betting against the closing line every single week. And with my real money, that's what I was doing. But I come to a place where I trust that sharp people know the truth. And I'm brought this up now because I want to do it to Andrew in fun, but you need to stop replying to these people.
Yeah.
Honestly, the ones that know nothing. Like a guy that has an argument, absolutely, a conversation, a debate, I welcome debate. But when someone comes in already with the conclusion in their head that there is no way you're going to change their mind, because their narrative is you sell picks and you're a losing tout because he lost his money following another tout, don't waste your time. You cannot let them go on their journey. And one day, maybe they may figure out the value you provided. But the guys like myself that are watching from the outside, so many that are watching this stream right now are really sharp guys. I've gotten to meet the MMA community. A lot of them don't even bet other sports, but because they're so into one and become specialists, they've now understand the gambling as well, not just the sport. And you're lucky there. That's why you don't have to explain yourself to those dudes. The people that are your subscribers that saw the plays you're sending out and the lines that you're sending them out with, that's documentation. That's all the proof. That speaks for itself. Your 3-4 years of results, that speaks the loudest. There is nothing you can say that is going to be more impressive, because to someone like me that knows how this works and who wins and who loses, that's all that matters to me. What's he doing against the close, and what's his long-term results? And just keep putting those out there, bro. That's what I do. That's why I don't promote my short-term streaks. I just promote my long-term stuff. And I now, fortunately, the subscribers I work with are gold. Sure, the guy will come in that needs that winning Monday night pick or is behind with his bookie and you're hot, so he buys your week. That's fine. Their guys are going to come and go. They're looking for the next hot hand. But constantly promote your long-term numbers and your long-term results, and those guys that understand how valuable the information is are the only people you're going to be working with. And you'll stop working with these guys that can't even comprehend that they're even seeing it, the subscription. You're seeing the play the guy sends you. Well, you think he's just lucky? Again, man, I'm sorry to go long, but I can't believe it's 2023. We got to do it live. We do it live. I'll do it live. I do that chat room once a week. Andrew, come on in, give me a play, and I will fire live through my accounts, and we will move that number. We'll light up the screen like a Christmas tree, bro. That's what it's going to take. Don't do it. Because, see, I did that. Remember, I got so emotional, I pulled money out. And I know,
and I want to do it right now. I don't know if you can see the
Don't. That's the foolish. That's the thing I did. I made some guy that I don't even know make me do that. Make me become so emotional, like I had something to prove to them. Please don't do it. Just do what you do. You're going to have hot streaks. You're going to have cold streaks. You're not as bad as your cold streaks. You're not as good as your hot streaks. You're somewhere in the middle, which is better than 99% of sports bettors on the planet. And keep grinding, and your trajectory is going exactly the way it should be. You'll keep bumping into this along the way because, again, most people just can't believe it.
Yeah.
If I can't do something, no one can do something, seems to be the attitude.
100%.
So I've realized there are 1% that actually win, and I've made it my job to find those guys. I came here with $600 20 years ago to hunt guys like you down, dude. And because you're on the internet and because you have a brand is the only reason anyone even knows you. I work with 5, 6, 7 other guys exactly like yourself, as talented as you, as bright as you, as influential in the market as you, but they just don't have brands. They're just, no one knows who they are. You know what I mean? So they don't have to deal with that shit. But you're doing something good. That's why I'm telling you, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, and ignore the nonsense guys, dude. The serious people, they know what's up. Anyone sharp knows what's up, bro. Anyone sharp knows what's up, because that's what my guy does. Melissa Gatto, you like Melissa Gatto? Go bet Melissa Gatto. She's minus 230 now. I got her at minus 170.
Yeah.
Go bet her. I got her minus 170. I didn't bet her. I didn't even lean that way. That's why my subscribers didn't get her. I'll never give out one of Andrew's plays unless I already liked it. That's why the guys I work with trust me. But he put me on Gatto at minus 170. I see that one time. That's enough for me. I've done this long enough. And after seeing him, that's why the results didn't even matter to me. Once I dealt with Andrew for 2 weeks and saw the influence, that was enough. I don't even care, dude. You could lose the next 10 weeks. It's irrelevant to me. That I know the value of being able to move the market like that and how much profit we could make long term, that your short-term variance to me is irrelevant. I don't have a problem managing my bankroll. So my risk management is freaking perfect now after 50 years on the planet. But yeah, it took that long to build some discipline. But yeah, man, again, not to go long, I love your guys. I love your followers, your supporters, and again, even detractors, man. You don't have to agree with me. And in fact, you should disagree with a lot of what I say and even a lot of my opinions. But some things are just fact. We could all have our own opinion. We can't have our own facts. That just doesn't make a good world. Like when we have to agree that there are some things that are factual. And a guy that bets and moves the line, that's a fact, man. That's not an opinion. It's not an opinion that me saying about Andrew. That's just factual, man. So I'm sorry to go long on that, but it was just you took too much heat for nothing. Just because you shared the fact that you bet Brady. That's the only thing that happened there. And because the line moved that significantly, he couldn't have done it. No, because he was probably chilling in Florida getting a tan, and guys like me were betting it for him. That's what was happening. Of course, he wasn't betting it. But yeah, please, dude, he's doing very well for himself, man. I don't have to come on here and tell him about Andrew Dombas. It's 2023, and I have to sit here and say this is what drives me nuts. That's why I do mention your name. There's a couple guys whose names I mentioned, like Nick Kalikas. I'll mention his name every chance I get because I know how influential he is on the market. And that guy just doesn't talk at all. You know what I mean? It's just not how he is. I have a nervous disposition. People think I'm on drugs because I just don't stop talking. Dude, I get dudes Crystal, he's on Crystal. Do I look like the kind of human being that cops his drugs at a fucking trailer park? Do I remind you of someone that would buy his drugs at a trailer park? Crystal? Really? At least say coke, dude. At least take me to cocaine. Don't put me on the crystal path. Do I look like someone that does? Really? Yeah, I cop my drugs at fucking trailer parks. That's what I do.
That's the funniest.
Man, I gotta love the internet.
Any tips for networking with other plus EV bettors?
Yes. Find outs that are solid, not outs that you lied to, outs that you're honest to. You're going to get some outs that you're going to backdoor, meaning they're going to tell you we don't want sharp stuff. And as long as you don't attach a bot to that account, they could never prove that I'm just beating the line. What do you want me to do? So they're probably going to have to pay you and not stiff you. But if you put a bot in 2023 and you don't have a good reputation to get paid, you're not getting paid. I'm telling you that today. If you want to become a mover, don't start attaching bots on accounts unless you have the name, whatever it takes to make sure these guys are going to pay you. Because I know so many bot guys that have been getting stiff with the simple email, text, tweet telling them, dude, that's in our rules, that if you use a bot, we shut the account down and keep the proceeds. So don't do that. What I say is you get outs. And by outs, I mean either if you have a bunch of cash, then obviously you could get cash accounts. I don't recommend it because I don't like tying up my money at 0% interest just sitting in a sports book. That to me seems foolish. So that's why I value credit accounts and I take care of my credit accounts. I even give kickbacks on wins. Most people just get percentages of wins. I give my movers, when I win, I give them a percentage. That's how much I value credit. So make sure you establish some good credit accounts. And then you simply, a guy like Andrew, he's always looking for outs. Come out here, hang out at, I'll point to you, go to a couple of the book, go to Circa, go to Westgate, where you see where a book has an opinion and they're posting some openers. You're going to bump into some runners, some movers, some wise guys. When I came here with $600, I knew the Stardust was the center of the world, that they brought out the opening line for the whole planet. So I knew as long as I hung out there, I was going to meet people. And every Sunday night, that's exactly what happened. The lines would come up for the next week's NFL, and in would come the guys with the money belts, duffel bags. You had to bet at the window with cash, duffel bags, and big Ziplocs with chips, casino chips. And they had to put a lottery. You put your name in a hat, and the sportsbook guy pulled the name one by one, and it was Andrew, teller 1, position 1, Gianni, teller 2, position 1. And it was a lottery to bet into the opening number. So I knew there was nothing but movers and shakers there. And that's how I started networking 25 years ago. It's so much easier today because you guys have the internet. Like you don't even have to go to these places to meet face to face. How me and Andrew met online. We met. Now, almost all the guys I work with, that's how it's worked.
Yeah, I was gonna say how I met you. I literally I DM'd you one day, and this was probably like a year ago. And I said, I'm looking at it right now. I said, Gianni, love the way you handle the tweets about Contender Series. Keep it up. I do a show called Sharp Side Saturdays every Saturday at 10 a.m. on my YouTube channel. If you don't have any conflicts, are you able to jump on this Saturday to talk about your favorite NFL bet of the week? It should only take about 10 minutes. Thanks. Like just reach out to people. Like
exactly. And then we talk. And honestly, here's what happened. I saw your results and you started seeing your plays. And I knew instantly who I was working with. Before, what I'd have to do, and I've done this in the past, I'll tell it right here, in the MMA, because I didn't know the MMA industry. In other industries, I knew. Again, I've been doing this so long. I know in every other major market who's who. In MMA, I didn't. And there was like someone like Andrew, I probably would have ended up buying his subscription to see if he was legit. The reason and guys, I would work with them if I saw that they were legit. The reason I stop or don't even do that is because then you'll get dudes like, oh, he's stealing my stuff, or he's betting my stuff, or he's stealing my stuff. And I'm like, that's when you know you don't want to deal with these dudes. Like, it's like, no, I'm documenting you, bro. I want to see if what you're saying is legit. If you're really up this many units over this many years and your ROI is this, I need to see, give me a few, most times it takes a week or two, but even give me a few months. Let me see, how are you doing CLB? I don't care about your results. Let me see how the market is affected by your action. And 99 out of 100 times, it ends up me wasting $200 on a subscription. You know what I mean? And then it just got, that just got old, you know, then it just, I realized, I swear the truth is I just didn't find anyone.
There's a guy on Twitter who says that all the time. And I'm not going to say his name on here because I don't want to give him the platform, but he's always like, oh, Gianni bought my picks and was cop. I want to be like, dude, you're not even sharp. Like you're not even
dude, if he showed winnings, long-term winnings, I probably did, because that's what I was doing. If I stopped, then it means, again, I apologize, and it's not a disrespect towards the guy. I hope whichever one it is, they're winning and they somehow continued winning. I just didn't see the value in it. Meaning what I do, how I scout, how I need CLV, how I do take true positions, but I also do a lot of scalping. I need someone that moves markets and has an influence in the market, not picks winners. I'm not looking for someone that picks winners. Like that to me is like, if you tell me you pick winners, that's cool. They keep picking winners. Like I don't need someone that could predict outcomes. You know what I mean? Like if you can do that, go be a psychic, have at it. I need someone that understands what they're doing. So please, that's all that's about. I'm glad that I hope it helps them make sales if they're saying that shit that I was buying their shit. If I was betting their shit too, I hope it helped them, if anything. But the truth is, dude, that again, that's why I sell it. I don't, dude, I'm at a point now. I don't have to lie. I did a lot of crazy shit in my life. I believe me. There's things I'm not proud of. I'll talk about every single one of them. I did. It's who you are. Like I say, if you don't look back at yourself and cringe, then you haven't evolved. And I compare myself to my past self. I never compare myself to others because I know everyone had a different life. They may have born rich. They were born poor. They had a good father. They had a bad father. They had money. He didn't have. So I've learned to never compare myself with others. Instead, I'm constantly comparing myself with my past. Am I better than I was a year ago? Better than I was 3 years ago? Better than I was 10 years ago? In my youth, I compared myself with others. That's why I have a fur coat upstairs that I still keep after 20, 30 years after buying it. Because I bought it when I lived in a row house. So you understand the foolishness of that. That I had a coat that cost over $10,000 and the house I was living in probably cost $40,000. So it tells you the mentality. That's why I'm not ashamed of the shit that I did, dude. What I'm telling you is that's what life gave me, and I fortunately learned from it. And here's where I am today, an evolved human being, and probably hopefully 5 years from now, even more evolved. But it's like that with betting. You're not going to be who you were today in a few years. And that's why be careful of the stuff, of the theses, the conclusions you're drawing, because as you learn, you don't unlearn. That's the beauty. You'll never unlearn. What you learn, you keep forever. But you'll realize that a lot of if you're have accountability, you'll get further in life by realizing and admitting your thesis is wrong. It's the hardest thing to do as a human being, but admitting your thesis is wrong, it will put you so further ahead. And most people betting, their thesis is wrong. Like they think watching more of the sport, reading more, watching more preview shows is going to help them beat the books, and the books love it. That's why they keep pushing more of that stuff out. The data that they're sending is not predictable. It's not actionable. They're all the stats that are available. The sports books want that stuff out there because, again, it gives you this false sense of using research that's going to help you beat a market, which is not doing anything. None of that information is predictable. None of it's actionable. All of it is just history. It's just all it is a reminder of what happened in the past. It's nothing that's going to predict what happened in the future. Very few metrics do that. And anyone that's uncovered those metrics, sure as hell ain't sharing them online, because anyone that's done that has gotten burned because they lost their edge within a year. Just ask our guy, Warren Sharp, who I love to death, who showed the world early down success rate. He introduced the world to early down success rate in the NFL. He came up with a metric that gave you such a nice advantage. And like all humans, you want to get appreciated for it. Fuck, you discovered something. It's like you just invent something. You not want the world to know. You uncover something you don't want the world to know. Unfortunately, you're not going to get value from early down success rate. Now we all talk about it. Well, it's one of those metrics that's everywhere. There's no value gained from it anymore. Now it's just used as a picture of the team, but it's a picture anyone could garner. It's not like something that is proprietary. A week before him sharing that with the internet, it was proprietary. No one knew about it. Warren knew about it. He could have just kept exploiting the market with it. Early down success rate, early down success rate, early down success rate, sides and totals. But good luck getting value from early down success rate now. Because again, markets evolve. That's just how it works.
100%. Any fights you're looking forward to later this year?
Honestly, I'm more of a week by week guy. What's in front of me, I'm a trader. I'm not an investor, so I'm not a long term guy. I'm a short term guy. Even with equities, I'm a swing trader. The most I'll hold something is for a few months, unless the trade really goes against me and I have to dollar cost average, because I still think it's a winning trade, but it's going to go longer. And it's the same with sports. Like right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm scrolling through. And I'm like, nothing really like excites me that much. Like I want to see Bo Nickel come back and fight, but he's going to be at 1,500. Like, I want to see his evolution because I've met him a few times, and I'm just impressed by how he carries himself. I want to see Pajeda and Jan. That one interests me. That one does because you have Pajeda as a dog that I saw. So Yeah, fights like that, Gagey, Poirier. But for me, I'll be honest with you. Even though, excuse me, I love, and it's the one sport I watch now. I've done this too long to where I just don't like sports. Like as a fan, like I bet baseball every day. You know that, Andrew. I haven't
Yeah.
bet a base. I haven't watched a baseball game all year. I swear to God, have not watched one inning, a full inning of a game, not all year, a one inning on my daughter, dude. I have not done that. But that just because it doesn't appeal to me, I would think it was a waste of time. So, and I do. I watch, and not even on. I won't watch Cage Warriors, even though I have a couple bets. I have your Stewart bet, I have your other bet, and I have my England bet. But I'm not going to watch it. But the UFC I watch because I'm part of their company. I feel like I'm involved. I'm even going to the Apex later today. If I finish my work, I'm even going to shoot down and watch the fights later today. So that I do, but I don't watch the other sports. I don't really look forward to that. I couldn't tell you who won last year's like World Series or NHL Stanley Cup or probably even the Super Bowl. I don't know if it's bad short term memory or what that is, but yeah, I just on to the next one for me. So I'm sorry, it's just not what I do.
No, that's great. And it's so important to be able to like, and it sounds easy, but if you started out as a fan, which like I did, for example, like even with MMA, like I started out as a wrestler and then that kind of is really close to MMA. So I kind of started to get to know that scene and I started out as a fan. And when you do that and transition over to the betting, like now it seems so stupid, but at the time, like I had biases. Like it's now, which seems crazy because now that would never happen. Like you say you don't watch baseball, like I watch. There's 162 games in a year. I probably watch 150 Yankee games. Like
I
seriously,
love that. I
yeah.
love that.
Like every night, like I have a couple TVs behind me right here. Like every day, if they play during the day, I'm doing my work. I have the Yankees game on in the background. Like
Dude,
every
I envy that. I
day.
envy that. Dude, if you could keep that forever, please keep that
Yeah,
forever.
I'm going
Don't
to.
lose that. That's why you do the smart thing and you don't bet or fade the Yankees. You stayed and you like that child, not in a bad way, but
Yeah,
that childhood love for the team, of being a fan, of remaining a fan, of not letting losing bet bias you against your team or for your team. You're doing it the right way, bro. I love that you do that. And that's how you should handle it. If you're going to be a fan, we do it the opposite. We think we need to dive deeper into a sport to become more efficient at it. And unfortunately, that's just, again, it's hard to separate yourself from realizing that the sport is just the vehicle. What you're doing is betting a market. The sport becomes the vehicle. It could be anything. Like, again, there's gold market, there's commodities, there's wheat, and you could trade anything. And sports just happens to be one of those. And again, unfortunately, because we were fans and we grew up fans, it's so hard to separate yourself from that. Or with stocks, it's not. Like, I don't see anyone that's invested in Amazon in front of one of those Amazon depots jumping up and down, cheering in Amazon, like, let's go, let's go, let's go, Amazon. You don't do it, like, you know what I mean? But with teams, you do. So that's why if you're a hardcore fan, I think it's the hardest thing to become a winning sports bettor. If you're a rabid like sports fan, like you're watching all day, you're watching sports, you could recite scores and players and teams from years back. Honestly, like, I'm not working with those guys. I wouldn't hire someone like that for sure. 100%, I wouldn't hire
yeah.
them. But it couldn't work with them. It's just hard to get. They're just so biased. Like, the word you used is perfect.
Yeah, I honestly feel like, again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I feel like I'm a unicorn where I have like I could tell you every NFL MVP from my entire life. Like I could tell you like I could name hundreds of players in every baseball lineup, but like I'm never gonna make a bet. Like, and I mean never. Like I'm never gonna
That's
make a bias bet
that's
ever.
it's the wrestler. It's the wrestler, bro. That's
Yeah,
lifestyle. I'm telling you.
100%.
That's why it took me 20 plus years to gain discipline in money management. I didn't have it. Like, my family, we were poor. I didn't grow up with money. Anytime I had money, I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know about investments. I didn't know, like, so to me, it was so foreign. That's why it took so long to develop any kind of discipline. I had no value for it. I didn't understand it. But guys like yourself that were wrestlers, because I see it with the athletes at the UFC, even guys that don't make the UFC, that are contender series guys that maybe just don't get the contract. but you see a discipline in them where, like if they wanted to be sports bettors, they have a better shot at it because they're disciplined. Like now all they have to do is learn how to win. They already have the important part figured out. That's the emotional side. Because like I told you, bro, right now my battle every day is with my demons. I trade the same 5 factors every day. Same 5 every single day for the last 10 since I've learned how to win. That's why I don't dabble in fantasy sports, in spreads with MMA. I don't dabble with none of that. I found my little edge and I stick to it. And that's why, with as far as like just betting, because you're a fan and betting everything, again, I just don't think that's a path to success, bro. I think you have to be able to separate yourself. And if you can't, just be a fan. Throw in some parlays, have some fun with it. Don't waste your money betting, man. Honestly, I tell that to most people. Like, don't waste it. If you're going to invest it, then do it the right way. But if you're just gambling, then have at it and have fun with it. Don't try to make money doing it.
100%. For me, fights I'm looking forward to, I echo a lot of the same ones you said. Pereira versus Blachowicz should be good. Kevin Holland versus Michael Chiesa. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Corey Sandhagen. All should be fun. Any not announced you want to see made? I would say hopefully Jack Della gets an easy win and then gets rebooked against Sean Brady.
The problem is they're going to bring Brady out as the favorite now. That always happens. Whenever one of you guys bet a fight that then gets canceled, they always bring it out at the adjusted number.
Yeah.
Like that's the worst. That's what I hate. That you already tipped your hand. They know what you're looking for. They're not going to give it to you. It's kind of like with options where the institutions know what price they need to push the stock to break the most amount of people, and they have the money and capital to push that stock there. But people buy options because that's like betting parlays. It's the cheap way to gamble.
That'll be the first fight I try to manipulate the market. I'll bet Jack Della at every early number I can.
Unload. Just tell me you love it. Tell me it's a game of the year. It's a game of the year. Fight of the year. Fight of the year.
But yeah, anything else you got, Gianni, for the people before we log off?
No, man. Just wish everyone the best of luck. Remember, the best advice I could ever give sports bettors is this. Every time I've lost money, it's been my own fault. Every time. It hasn't been the market's fault. It hasn't been the ref's fault. It hasn't been the judge's fault. It hasn't been anyone's fault. The guy that gave me the pick, it's always been my fault. Because meaning if I got emotional, it's because I overbet it. It was my mistake that I lost more money than I should have. If you're not overbetting, you're not sweating. The only reason you'll ever email, tweet, DM Andrew and tell him pissed off is because you made a mistake. Like as a bettor, we need to have that accountability and realize like, listen, I went a little further. I bet a little more than I should. And that cost me. It wasn't the pick. It wasn't the judge's fault. Sure, it was a bad beat. I should have won. That's all irrelevant. That shit's going to happen. That's randomness that you can't control. What you can control is, are you doing the right thing? Because all of us know more times than not whether we're doing the right thing or not. Like, I know what it takes to have a six-pack, bro, but I'm drinking coffee with freaking sugar in it. That's not going to help it. You know what I mean? So it's a difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it. And that's why I'm saying you have to bet size small based on your bankroll. And too few people do that. They overbet their edge. Instead of increasing your bet size, increase your bankroll. Whether that means going to get an Uber when you ever have dude, I drove a taxi. I bartended. I got a real estate license to hustle when housing was hot back in 2005, 2006. I did everything I could to supplement my bankroll while I was learning the process and more or less losing money to the market to learn. That was my education. Now you got guys like Andrew that you could get the education for a lot cheaper. Then there wasn't that. Like I had to learn from the market on my education. So going off again, not to go off a rant, that's I can't give you any better advice than that. Then please, 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 if you want to survive, underbet, don't overbet. I mean, it's not great to underbet, but whatever you do, don't overbet. No, you can't come back from that. Like once you bet more than you should, you can't come back from that. And by more than you should, I'm telling you now, if you are not 100% a winning bettor, where you do this every day, year in, year out, you've paid taxes the last 3-4 years as a sports bettor, you know what your profit is, you don't use your sports betting money for anything else except sports betting, meaning if you have a good week, you don't use that money to buy your girl a present or go out for food or go to a nice restaurant. You don't use that money. It's your business. If you're there, then it's a different story. You already know what you're doing. If you're not, don't ever bet more than 1% of your bankroll. Ever, 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 ever. That's the rule of thumb. Ever, ever. My advice, bet 0.5% and then 1% on your best bets. And don't ever change that. Start the year with, that means if you have $1,000, the most you ever bet is $10. You're betting $5 on your regular plays. You're betting $10 on your best bets. And people are going to say, dude, how am I going to make any money? Oh, $10 a bet, $10 a bet. That's not your problem. This part of the equation is your problem, the bankroll. This can't change. The 0.5%, 1%, that should never change. When that changes, you're going broke. When you start betting 4, 5, 6, 7% of your bankroll, you're going broke. Just a matter of time. That's a lock. That's the one lock I could share on this show, that if you're betting 5% of your bankroll per play, you're going broke. Just a matter of time. Stick to 1% max, 0.5% regular, and you will survive every cold streak and realize whether you truly have an edge or not. That's the best takeaway I can. People ask me all the time, if you could share one thing or give me one thing, one bit of advice, what would you say, or to your old self? That would be it. That would have saved me so much time, agony, and money if I just stuck to that rule. Don't change this part of the equation, change that. You'll never bet more than 1%. So if I need to get more down, that means I need to increase my bankroll, not my bet size, not my percentage of bet size. That could never change. Do that, you're on the right track to making money.
Awesome. Yeah, love it. So to recap the picks, we got the Twins in the MLB, and we've got Darren Stewart and Cage Warriors. Thank you guys for tuning in. Yanni, thanks for
under the Giants. Under in the Giants.
Under in the Giants. I'm on that as well. Real tough for them this year. So, yep. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next Saturday.